Hello everybody. I thought I would give everybody a nice view today, and I'm going to rant for a little while about partners, play spaces, and safety, since I think it's important. Hello everybody, thank you for showing up. If you think this might be useful for other people, you can invite your followers. I would appreciate that. And you have to excuse my voice. I'm still losing my voice daily. And but anyways, are you near John? No, this is the Golden Gate Bridge that you're looking at. John is far, far away. So anyways, I wanted to talk about partners and play spaces and safety, because I think there's a lot of people that are could run into problems, especially when you play your first time. I guess for people that don't know who I am, my name is Megan, also known as MistressXmas. I have been in the scene for 25 plus years. I was pro for 3 years, and I've done pretty much everything in this lifestyle to some degree. I'm a switch, primarily Dom these days, but I love to sub when I can. I only sub to my one Dom for the last 20 years. And so that's sort of a bit about me. One thing that why this came up is some of you may know that I have a friend named Jay Weissman. He wrote a book called SM 101, and since he's agreed to let me interview him on Periscope coming up here. So I thought, well, you know, maybe I should go back and reread his book, because I haven't read it since 1992. And then it was a friend's copy. So I went out and bought a copy of his book a week or so ago and been reading it. And it covers tremendous ground about everything in this lifestyle. And safety is a huge deal. So actually here, I know what I can do. I have this book handy. I'm going to flip this and you can see. Hopefully, there is his book. This is the 1998 edition, I believe. So there are multiple editions. And it's a wonderful book. It's pretty detailed. Gives you all the basics on what you should do, what you shouldn't do. So I recommend you get it. But I guess what I want to talk about as far as partners go, when you're meeting people for the very first time, you just have to be so fucking careful. I mean, you're talking about meeting a complete stranger. Always do it in a public venue, a coffee shop or somewhere. And make sure you really get to know this person before you decide on playing. I mean, you should be able to spend many, many hours with a human being, getting to know their personality and learning their likes or dislikes about BDSM before you ever get to actually talking about, you know, getting together to do a scene. So I highly recommend that you meet people in public places, and to be perfectly honest, if you really are going to play with them, I would highly recommend exchanging driver's licenses, getting that kind of information, because you just don't know what kind of shit's going to happen. And to be perfectly honest, everybody I know that's a Dom has had a horror story. I'm sure that there are even more horror stories for the submissives out there. I have been fortunate and lucky. But I am absolutely sure this is a problem both ways, and probably more for submissives. So I really do recommend that you spend time learning about a person. And for me, since I am a switch, I really sort of play in three fashions, really. As a submissive, I play both publicly and privately. And since I only have one dom in for 20 years, I'm pretty safe. I know what's going to happen, what's not going to happen. And so that relationship, was built over the years. So that's pretty straightforward for me anyway. For new people, I mean, if you don't know who you're dealing with, that could be tricky. And then as a dom, I've really sort of done this in two fashions, publicly and privately. Privately, as a professional, being professional, doing this for a living is really, it's hard. It's really, you have to be really careful. And when I've done it professionally and played in private, I've always made sure to set up either call-ins or messaging with another pro or friend every 30 minutes when I'm in a session with a client. So this way, I'm always checking in to make sure, or they're checking in to make sure that I'm safe. Please excuse my voice. It's going to be completely gone in 10 minutes. And then really the same should apply for the submissive. They should also be having a friend call or check in all the way around on these things. If you're in somebody's house, you have no fucking clue what's going to happen. And you really don't know, unless you played with that person, what the heck they're going to do. And this works both ways, both from trusting the dom and trusting the submissive. So a check-in is really a great way to help yourself when you're in a private environment. Personally, I highly recommend playing publicly at most communities. There's dungeons that you can pay $20 and go in and use for the night kind of thing, or events that you can go to, which are all great places to play the first time out. So I would highly recommend, if you're going to play the first time, play publicly. You'll have dungeon monitors that will protect you and protect your sub, or vice versa, and it's really the best way to go. So anyways, that's my basic spiel, I guess, on this. I just since rereading Che's book, I just sort of ran into that section and thought, well, this is sort of brilliant. And I really don't think I had talked about the checking in part, which I used to do when I was working pro. So I think it's really a safe thing to do, and I really think everybody should be using it. Oh, let's see if I can read some of these. I can barely read this. I have the sun in my eyes. Here, let me move this. I can answer any questions that you might have. No questions. I've lost everybody. Either that or they're all just people that already know all this. It is an amazing view. And I apologize for completely losing my voice. I knew this would happen, but I couldn't resist. I'm a sucker for punishment. Must be the masochist in me. There are newbies in the room. Well, newbies should ask questions. There's always stuff to learn. I'm learning stuff today. I still learn stuff. You can't know everything. There are other books. Really, Jay's book is the only one I've really am familiar with and have really read. I believe he also has some other books as well on the subject, though I couldn't give you titles. I suppose I should investigate this so I have more information for you folks. But Jay's book is very much a realistic introduction into S&M, or bondage and discipline, depending on how you want to define it. So, thank you for the hearts. I can't hold this stupid camera still when it's zoomed in. Where did the bridge go? It's a little foggy here. Overcast. Well, now that I've completely lost my voice. Is BDSM sex-based or other? I have no idea what that question means. Maybe you could ask the question in a way that I might understand it. Do I have a favorite Dom moment? I have many favorite Dom moments. I've had, after 25 years, it's impossible to pick one because there's just so many. But I think one of my favorites was a mind fuck that I played on one of my submissives with a knife. He hated knives so much, and I blindfolded him, so a little sensory deprivation is a great way to play. And I told him I had my knife, but I was poking him with my finger. And he was saran wrapped to a cross. And every 5 minutes or so, I would just sort of let him hang, and then I would poke him with my finger. And he just kept freaking out and freaking out. And then I told him I was really going to get him. And so I poked him really hard. And he freaked out, and he completely ripped himself off the cross. And then everybody else in the dungeon gave me hell. But it was great fun. And he really enjoyed it. It's actually his favorite session. So while it freaked him out, that was the purpose. So, you know, if you're playing a mindfuck in game and you know it, you have to expect something different. And I gave him something I knew he wouldn't like. But there's tons of stories. Canceled play date with Megan. But I only do, I mean, I had that particular sub had been with me for years, and he knew me that he would never, ever, ever be hurt. But boy, I used to freak him out good. I have somebody fishing in front of me. How very odd. Hey, wow. It's nice to see everybody here. this is difficult for him to talk about it. Actually, it's really not that cold for some reason. I have no idea why. It should be cold, but it's not. I hear seagulls yelling at me. It is a pretty view. It's normally clear, so you can see things better, but I just thought it would still be nicer than staring at my kitchen. It is rather peaceful, other than the horn honking. I have guys fishing like right near me here. Well, I try to inform. I don't often get my point across very well. I usually have something in mind I want to say, and then I proceed to completely fuck it all up. So, pretty much all of the scopes I've done so far, I need to redo and make corrections, because I just my brain thinks one thing and my mouth says something else. My dirty language. I apologize for the foul language. I become emotionally involved too easily. Yep, I will talk to you all later. I'm also going to cut this short. I think I made my point, and you all got to see at least a nice view for a short time. So thanks for coming, guys. If you don't follow me, please do. And tell your family and friends. I'm sure they'll all be extremely interested. Bye-bye.